It's too late for Foggy Nelsons. Too late for Muse's victims. For Officer Saunders. And, my wife, Vanessa. But we can bring these criminals like Karen Page and Daredevil to justice. People we lost deserve that. People of New York deserve that.
I'm sorry, was that an answer or a speech, Mr. Mayor?
You asked me why I enacted the Safer Streets initiative. You, of all people, should know you were there.
Ah, I see. Yes. When Bullseye took a shot at you. Actually, you called me a hero that night, didn't you?
Objection. Can we have a little relevance, please?
Sustained. Get to the point, Counselor.
My point is that, as the mayor stated before, the statute that my client is being charged under was supposedly created to protect the city from criminal vigilantes. Is that a fair assessment, Mr. Mayor?
It is.
And are the streets safer?
Statistics say they are, yes.
But there is still lawlessness.
Of course.
I mean, some might say rounding people up and throwing them into detention without due process is lawless.
Objection. Immaterial invites conjecture.
Sustained.
Your Honor, I'll rephrase. Mr. Mayor, your policies, as harsh as they may be, did not prevent a criminal from taking a shot at you and ultimately murdering your wife. An assassin, actually, who I believe was once in your employ.
Objection. This is contemptible, even for Councilor Murdock.
Sustained. This kitchen sink approach is getting tedious.
Your Honor, there's a point to all this. Please remember what my colleague asked at the beginning of this trial. What is a vigilante? What is a criminal? Please.
You really want to do this, Mr. Murdock?
Oh, absolutely, sir.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, found on Disney+. And we're covering Episode 8, which is amazing. It was entitled The Southern Cross.
Yeah, the synopsis for this one is: the city and its heroes enter an unprecedented era. Era, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
We basically continue off where the last episode left off, which was the court-based situation, which is interesting. We get the courtroom drama and trial of Karen Page and her trial for vigilantism.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Kristen McDuffie leading the defense while a wounded Matt Murdock joins late.
Yeah. It didn't occur to me until just now, and thinking about it this in the second watch, there's no cold open. They just give us a previously on and they go straight into the credits, and then the show starts with Kristen with Jessica Jones patching up Matt in the loft there, and so we do get the courtroom, and we realize that okay, he's got to get in there because Kristen and Karen are all alone there at the defense table. But yeah, it was a great episode. There was a lot of setup for the future. We were just talking before we started recording. There's a lot here that can set up for Spider-Man, for the future of the MCU, for season 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things here that this episode ties in, that is just really cool to see where Marvel is going to take it. They have really a lot of directions they could take it, and who knows? I mean, at this point, it could be anything, just about. Like
I said before we actually started recording, it's more getting the more street level based characters. Like I mentioned to you before we started recording that Spider-Man is more of a street level character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, we had the movies that was great with Tom Holland, but now he's been more focused more as a street level character within New York City.
Ever since No Way Home, since it was No Way Home, wherever they reset, when everybody's memory reset of him, now he's no longer involved in the global space, adventures that he's been involved in before.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they tie in these street level characters into the Spider-Man universe and
The
whatever's
New
going to
York City
happen.
universe, as I
Yeah.
like to call it, because it's more city based, it's more localized.
Mhm.
Within this episode, yeah, we said spoilers, everybody. We do get more Jessica Jones. And at the very end, we do get Luke Cage coming home.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I was not spoiled on that at all, so it was a complete surprise to me. They didn't
Yeah.
spoil it in the credits. I didn't get spoiled in any of the. I mean, I knew he was coming. I knew that
Yeah.
he was going to be there because we've had production stills from season 3, so we know that he was. We knew that he was going to be involved at least in season 3. I didn't have any clue that he was coming back in here in season 2. I thought
was amazing.
it was a
Yeah.
great reveal, and I thought it was wonderful to see them together. And that last shot, in fact, this was my very first point. If we would have gone to points, it
Right.
was the reveal of Luke Cage, and that shot there at the end of Jessica closing the door of the Alias Investigations sign up there, seeing that it's intact. And again, like I said, that opens up for not only for their presence in season 3, but it also opens up for the possibility of future Jessica Jones
Yeah.
show. So we'll see.
Or the Defenders, as it were,
Yeah.
as I kind of mentioned before in previous podcasts. To me, I love Mike Coulter. I think he is the perfect person to play Luke Cage. I really do like him as Luke Cage. And I'm like, oh my God, he's back. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
and he sees his daughter and hugs her and everything. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
spoilers, everybody. But
You don't have to keep saying it. We said it once. We got it. They got it. They've watched the episode already.
yeah, they got
So,
it. They got it.
yeah.
But the thing was, it's like, oh, we finally get it. And we know that Mike Holder's back as Luke Cage. We got Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. Matt has come out within this particular episode, Matt Murdock, literally throughout the court scene.
Mhm.
And that's a given. He literally says, I'm Daredevil.
Yeah,
And
he did.
and-
I love the little smirk at the end. He does the very, very Tony Stark, very I am Iron Man, I am Daredevil, like the way he says in a little smirk at the end there, to where it's really just it's playing to the homage of going all the way back to that first Iron Man movie,
Yes.
and just the fact of him with all the cameras around. It's not quite as public as what when Tony did his, but it's pretty close.
Mhm.
I thought it was great. That whole courtroom scene is really cool. You could definitely see D'Onofrio was definitely channeling his inner. Oh, it's escaping me. The actor's name. From The Departed, from A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson. He's definitely from he's definitely channeling Jack Nicholson in his responses from the stand. Like, you don't deserve to know what comes through this port. It's just like that. You can't handle the truth. It was really so really cool, and just the way Matt Murdock, the way Charlie Cox is standing and delivering his lines. It was very reminiscent of the courtroom scene in A Few Good Men there at the end. If you've seen that movie from 20, 30 years, almost 30 years ago now, I guess 90s. It was the 90s. So, it was great. That whole courtroom scene was so cool. The back and forth between again, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio is just amazing. I hope they find some way for Kingpin to find his way back to New York City, because those two play off each other so well. It's but we'll see.
Honestly, the episode really took me aback because the majority of it was mostly courtroom drama, NCIS based and everything else. But it was a lead up to with Matt exposing himself, saying because as for defense for Karen Page at that point. I love the lawlessness of detaining people was brought up at a certain point. Not due to vigilantism. Karen is not a vigilante in the sinking of the Northern Star at a certain point within the courtroom and the case. And all they have is the testimonial from Officer Powell. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was interesting because they hinged their case on that whole thing of her being involved in that particular action. And I loved the whole part where Matt points out the flexible nature of this tribunal, and it's just really
Yeah.
really cool the way he said that. And then when he exposes himself as Daredevil, when they're able to give the video testimony, saying that the ones, it wasn't Daredevil who blew up the ship, it was the first mate and the captain who blew up the ship on orders from Kingpin, from the mayor. They knew, even though they may not have got the order directly from him, the guy saying it came, we knew that it was coming from the mayor was just perfect. And I didn't catch it till the second time, and so I'm kind of surprised we didn't see something about this. But he implicated Jessica Jones in those vigilante activities because he says that the two of them blew up the warehouse where the guns were being stored. So I was kind of surprised in the second time when I caught that and going, oh, they could have arrested Jessica Jones
at that point
as well.
And she was in the courtroom too.
Yeah, she's right there. So if they're gonna pin it on Matt, so I kind of wish they had given us some sort of a maybe show Matt making his deal, because obviously you don't go straight from being arrested to going into the Gen Pop prison with your orange jumpsuit. You don't. It takes a little more time than that. So if they could have shown us some scene of him, cutting a deal where he was like, "Well, leave Jessica out of it, and I'll just plead guilty or something." I don't know. Maybe we'll get that later. The only thing that kind of it bothered me a little bit, and I don't want to gloss over it because it's such the whole courtroom siege. The siege of the courthouse is great, but I was a little confused, and I have to admit I backed this thing up and I watched it 3 times. Every time, both times I watched the episode, how do they get the suit into the building?
That is a good question.
We see them passing the suit through the fence, and then all of a sudden, the very next scene, Jessica's got it in the office, and she throws it to Matt, and I'm like, we missed something here.
Exactly.
How did they get past the phalanx of troops? How did they get past all the protesters and everybody who's outside the courthouse to get this suit? I mean, I like I said, I backed it up a couple of times. Maybe I missed something. I haven't listened to anybody else coverage of the episode yet, so maybe I missed something where they showed. Like I said, I know they showed them passing that bag through the fence, but how do they get it into the building? How did Jessica get a hold of it?
Exactly.
I'm a little like, I tried to see if maybe were they carrying it when they walked into the courtroom, but no, they're not carrying it when they walk into the courtroom. So that was the only thing that I kind of was like, come on, you
got to suspend your disbelief at that point.
Yeah, you got to put on your suspenders, and let it go. But it was just that was one thing. But the siege is just incredible. And that whole fight scene when Kingpin loses his mind.
Oh my God.
I'm really surprised they allowed him to just go away. The deal with the AG of renounce your citizenship, leave the country or whatever. Because I mean, he killed people in that scuffle. He killed protesters. He killed cops. I think it was it was bloody and
it
brutal.
was a bloody battle throughout that whole scene with everybody. Jessica was involved. Daredevil or Matt was involved. Fisk was definitely involved, and it's something that's being exploited too because it's being filmed. Yeah, and everybody doesn't get that, and they don't realize this. And it's like, oh, what's gonna happen right now at this point with him?
Yeah,
is Fisk gonna go away, or is Matt gonna go away? What's going on?
Yeah, and of course
we find out later on that Matt does get jailed.
Yeah, so Matt goes to jail, and Kingpin gets his beach somewhere. Well, he's standing on the beach somewhere. So I don't know exactly where he's at or where he went to, but we know that he didn't want to go to a beach because that's what him and Vanessa talked about, was that he didn't like the sand or whatever. So it's definitely not like, it's not a great thing for him. He's not going to be enjoying himself, but at the same time, he's not in prison either. So, Matt's in prison. So that's going to be something that season 3 may or may not explain if we get any more.
If we get a season 3 at this
oh no,
point, but
I mean, we know they're filming season 3.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we know
that.
we're getting a season 3. What we don't know is if we're going to get a season 4. I mean, the showrunners have come out and said that they know that season 3 is being done. What they don't know is if they're going to get a season 4.
I'm wondering if
so.
I'm really wondering if they would put Kingpin into the Raft.
I mean, that's not what that's. I'm telling you, that's not what we saw. What they showed us was him on the beach. So they should have. I mean, that's what my point is. Is he should have gone to either prison or. I'm surprised Matt Murdock didn't end up on the raft. You know, I mean,
that is true because he is super powered. Everybody.
and you know, I was kind of surprised they show him. Now they didn't show him actually in general population, so I'm assuming they're going to have to isolate him somehow. They can't just have him out with all the other prisoners. That's so again, that's something that season 3 they're going to have to show us,
or maybe we get something out of the Punisher movie that's coming out.
I doubt it. I don't think he's not even on the cast. He's not even on the cast list. You IMDb the cast list. He's not even on the cast list for
but
Punisher. I don't think. I mean, we can hope that he shows up in
hopes
Punisher,
and dreams. Everybody,
I think there's too much involved with that character to. They've got enough to show Frank and what's going on with him at this point.
We all love Frank here. Everybody,
obviously we love Punisher. We started this podcast with the Punisher. So I mean, that's we go all the way back to whatever it was 5 years ago, 4 years. 20, whatever it was a while ago.
8 years ago, pal.
8 years ago. Yeah. So over 300 episodes that we've recorded
almost
in
9
8 years. So but we started with the Punisher. So we definitely love the Punisher. We love John Bernthal. We love that character, and we can't wait to see where they take him. And so I'm excited for season 3 to see what they do with it, because there's so many things that they opened up. I mean, heck, we haven't even talked about the fact that at the end we get Matthew Lillard in almost a cameo. Really, he didn't. You know, he showed up. He popped into 3 or 4 episodes for just a couple of minutes of screen time each time, but every time it was pivotal what he had involved in. You know, and this one is even more pivotal there at the end, showing that Bullseye is the one who took Luke Cage's spot. I mean, that's the assumption I think we're told to make, is that Bullseye took, you know, because I love that. Did you notice? I didn't notice until the second watch that Bullseye's costume, when he attacks the AVTF sniper, he has the bullseye on his his head covering, his head,
his cowl.
He's definitely gone to the bullseye costume. It was more of a bluish or black costume than what we've seen before, but he definitely had the bullseye logo on there, and I thought, okay, he's fully embraced this persona, you know. And he says, when he's on the radio, he said wrong bullseye, you know. Just thought was great. So and seeing him there at the end with Mr. Charles, I can't wait to see where they're going to take that, because again, there's so many things that opened up for season 3 here that I'm excited to see where they go, and know it's probably going to be 2027 before we get season 3.
Well, so it does open up a lot of other things for the MCU itself too. They can actually add Matthew Lillard. We already know about what's her name from Seinfeld?
Val.
Val.
Yeah.
And
Juliet Dreyfus. Yeah.
And her character and involved with the Thunderbolts and everything else. I think that kind of revolves within that same storyline.
Yeah, they're definitely swimming in the same waters there, I think. With CIA and covert ops kind of thing. I don't know if they're the same affiliation. So again, we'll have to see where they take Mr. Charles, where they put him, whether it's in Secret Wars, whether he comes into, you know, he's one of those characters. He and Bullseye are those characters that could show up just about anywhere at this point.
The blue.
Just like what was it? What's his U.S. agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier shows up in Thunderbolts.
Wyatt Russell's character. Yeah.
So that character has now broken the seam that they don't have to hold him to just Daredevil. We'll have to see where they take him. But yeah, so many things. Dr. Glenn at the end, Dr. Glenn there putting on
the mask of Muse,
the Muse mask, and then it when it went back to the mirror, it's like the Muse mask disappeared and it was her. And so what are they going to do with that? Is she going to take over the persona of Muse? Is she going to be in season 3? I mean, like I said, there's so many things we have here that they can bring up that that season 3 is wide open. The future for this part of the franchise is definitely wide open, and I'm excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, same here. The one thing that really entrapped me within this particular episode was the actual courtroom drama.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did engage and loved it for the fact that even Dr. Glenn herself said that Karen has more of antisocial parameters, more of like a sociopath, which really is far from the character that we know of Karen
it's far
Page.
from the truth. Oh, we know she's lying. We know she's lying. You know, the whole court knows she's lying. And even when Matt asked that question about did you strike her, you can see how Dr. Glenn visibly gets upset at that. And I think the courtroom even realized that, oh, she did it. She, and it's like, I love that. That was part of the whole scene with Matt questioning her was just absolutely incredible. I loved when he reveals that I'm Daredevil, and somebody, whether it's I can't remember if it was the court or whether it's somebody or whether it was Mr. Hochberg, who was just like, are we supposed to believe that Daredevil is a blind man? And then he throws his cane and bounces it all over the courtroom and catches it in his hand. I was just like, yeah, he's Daredevil, man.
Yeah,
so,
he is. But we also got Fisk actually insinuating that something that Matt is Daredevil at a certain point. He doesn't say it out loud, doesn't pointedly direct it. It's like him exposing Matt as being Daredevil in the courtroom under his breath that Matt can hear. So we hear it as the audience watching the show, and Matt responds, but it is heard from the judge, but is basically dismissed at that point. But then Matt goes, yeah, I'm Daredevil.
That was a great scene when Fisk under his breath says that I could expose you, basically saying I could expose you, and Matt says, well, I could do the same thing to you, and the judge is like, you said what? And Matt Murdock, oh, it's just just plays it off. I thought it was great because I don't know if Fisk actually was able to hear him. He was able to hear Fisk, and we know that, but we don't know if Fisk was able to actually hear him or not. But we don't get that indication. But anyway, the whole thing is that it was so well written and so well acted.
Exactly, with like key placements, like with the governor showing up with Jessica Jones and then giving her testimony of everything else, and then it's just like, oh, snap! Everything is coming into play right now. Yeah. It's like everything's right in Fisk's face. He can't really rebuttal regarding
he can't dodge it. The governor says the attorney general is filing the charges against you. We got you, basically. And Fisk is trying to say that, well, I'll defend myself. And then, of course, he goes bat crazy, killing people. And now he can't. Now there's no way he's going to defend himself. That's when Matt tells him at the end, finally, when he gets him calmed down, he gets all the protesters calmed down. He says, take the deal, because obviously if you don't take the deal now, you're cooked. Is basically, and so Fisk has to take the deal of leaving the country. So that's why I'm interested to see how they bring him back, or if they bring him back in future movies or what they do. So it was really a great way to end the season. I thought calling him to the stand again, his walk to the stand is very reminiscent of that Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, where he's striding up to the stand and takes his seat and gives his oath. I thought it was just masterful the way D'Onofrio played that. And I know it's unfortunate that the award shows don't usually look at these kind of TV shows for award moments, but gosh, if Nicholson can win an Oscar for doing that. D'Onofrio should be able to win.
I would say at least an Emmy. For
an
this,
Emmy
you know?
for his portrayal here.
Yeah.
Or at least get nominated, because it was just masterful. So
It was masterful. And honestly, the story itself is very well written, and it works in the strides of everything that's drama that we have in regular cinema. Everybody, it's not streaming or anything else. But my feeling is that, and D'Onofrio has been around for years. He's been in a ton of movies.
Oh yeah.
He's been in a Scorsese film. So and it's just amazing, and he has talent. And what was I thinking of? It was him and Jennifer Lopez in that one movie. Then we got Full Metal Jacket. And it's
Kubrick,
like a whole,
he's good.
Kubrick
He's
movies,
done,
and
he's just an amazing actor. He did a stint in TV. He's done, and he's been one of those actors who's been able to go back and forth between movies and TV shows, because he did Law and Order for several years, and just is really, really great. And I'm really just impressed with his career. And again, it's so cool to see where he's going to go from here.
Yeah, same thing with Charlie Cox with his stint in HBO. He's been in a ton of shows that had stood its ground. And then on top of that, you get, Kristen Ritter. We already mentioned that. And then we have Deborah Ann Wall, Eldon Hansen himself, who played Foggy. It's like, I don't like to leave people behind when it comes to the show that we love. And a lot of the cast and characters that we had. The one thing we top on, Cherry is alive and he's well.
Cherry's alive. Well, we saw him in the last episode. Yeah, briefly. And I said that he looks, and we still see him. And I thought it was great with Pal going, shouldn't you be somewhere sipping on retirement drinks or whatever? And Cherry's like, no, we're doing this. So I thought it was great to see those characters again. I hope we get to see him in the future. I don't want to also miss something that was said that I think is important to note. Is that the judge, when Matt calls for the dismissal, the judge says dismissed with prejudice. And if I remember my TV courtroom rules, when they say it's a dismissal is with prejudice, that means they can't come back and try again. Normally when a case is dismissed, it means they can still try it again. Like double jeopardy isn't attached to a dismissal usually, unless in this case they say that it's dismissed with prejudice. That means that the court did something wrong, and so we're not going to let you try this again. So I think that's important to note, is that she can't be brought up on these charges ever again, even if they found new evidence or anything where they thought they'd be able to get her on this stuff. So, again, it was great to see that. Again, I don't know what they're going to do in season 3. We still have Kristen Duffy out there. We still have Karen Page out there. Matt's in jail. Dr. Glenn is out. And Buck is still out there. He's alive.
Oddly enough, did you catch that whole little scene with Dr. Glenn and Buck, and she's taking care of Buck?
She was, we'll have to see how he recovers from his bullet wound. And
is there a reminiscence? Is there a romance going on there?
I mean, we saw that little spark a couple episodes ago. So, they got a weird relationship. It could be. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see Buck again in future seasons. So, we'll just have to see where they take this from here. Exactly. I thought it was super cool that Jessica found some whiskey in the courtroom, or in the court offices there. I don't want us to miss that fact. We know that her bourbon and her whiskey plays a big part of the Jessica Jones character. So
she might be a mom. She might be partner to Luke Cage, but and a mother to what's her name?
Danielle. I think it was Danielle. Yeah. Her powers may be on the fritz, but she's still gonna find her whiskey. So I thought that was that was really cool, really good. Yeah, there were some good lines in this one. I loved Matt there saying, "What is a criminal? What is a vigilante?" Because that has been, or what is a vigilante? What is a criminal? Because
Correct.
that's been this whole season. Really, that has been
The borderline.
the border. How do you where and even going now into next week when we talk about Punisher, is Punisher a criminal? Is he a vigilante? Is he an anti-hero? Where do you put the Punisher in these rules? Where do you put Bullseye? Is Bullseye a criminal? Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? What is he? And I think it's really cool that we got to explore that this season of where do we walk that line? So
Exactly. Well, these are things to be talked about later on, everybody.
yeah. The only other thing I got is the other line that I really loved when they're talking about when Mr. Hochberg is turning the courtroom into a circus, and even the judge acknowledges Mr. Hochberg. I think we've been under the big top for a while now. So
Yeah.
even the judge is acknowledging that this is a circus.
It
This
is a
wild.
circus. Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, I think that about does it for our coverage of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 8. And with that, we're going to move right along. We're not going to go into comic news because, honestly, there's so much going on. I didn't want to really fill it with that. But we're going to go into podcast recommendations. So, Steve, if you have any.
Sure. I mean, I think it goes without saying we've mentioned them. I think every week we both listen to them all the time. TV podcast industries, those guys over there are doing a great job. They do multiple shows. They were covering The Boys and Daredevil and Invincible all at the same time. Whereas Mark and I are just doing one show at a time. We'll come back and pick up The Boys down the road. Mark might pick up Invincible, or I've been binging through the old episodes of Invincible to get caught up to back to season 4. Yeah.
I've yet to talk to Jamie regarding that. We haven't gotten back to Invincible for a long time.
Yeah, so we'll have to see where that
I want to go through that and group that together. Hopefully, I'm sure Jamie would probably be like, "Hey, we haven't touched on this in a while. Let's get back together." I have yet to broach that, but
yeah, season 4 just finished, and season 5 is in the books for 2027. So
yes,
we'll have to see where we can do on that. We've got a lot coming up this summer, but yeah, TV podcast industries, Podcastica, all their stuff that they got going on. Check them out. If you like TV, you can find something out there. I would encourage you. If you like TV and you like to hear people talk about TV, jump in there and find them. That's how we started. We just started talking about TV shows, talking about The Walking Dead, and it morphed into this podcast community that Mark and I are part of. So
exactly. That's literally how we became what we were. I was influenced through Jason Gabassi and a lot of other people who were doing podcasts at that point. I love what Jason has done with Podcastica, and just go to podcastica.com and check out all the podcasts on their network and follow them. There's a lot of them that are out there. Also check out the Wilhelm podcast, which would be Ben Beck's podcast. So wilhelmpodcast.com and check that out. Ben and I actually had done Monarch season 1, Legacy of Monsters. So just check that out there as well as on Podcastica. And then with that, we're gonna go right into feedback.
Yeah.
So where can listeners hear us, Steve?
Well, as always, you can hear me right here on Panels to Pixels. And I don't know where we're at in the script. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. Look, check us out on Adrenaline Cinepod.
No. Hey.
Pirate Court. Let's back that up. Let me try that again.
All right. I'll start over.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, where could you and just read the Steve thing in the purple?
Yeah, as always, you can check out all our other podcasts on piratecoreentertainment.com. There's links for all of our podcasts, Panels to Pixels podcast, What's for Dinner, what is that right? What's for dinner? What's on tonight? Who's she eating? Wait, no, that's not right. Who's she? That's wrong. No, keep all this in because it's hilarious. No, just check us out, please check out Pirate Core Entertainment, piratecoreentertainment.com. That's where you'll find all the links to our podcast, Panels to Pixels, all the other ones that are on the Pirate Core Entertainment network. Wow, that was a mouthful to get through, but I got it.
You did.
I love it because, hey, you know what? This is look, folks. I listen to a lot of TV show podcasts. I don't recommend them all. There are ones that can their endings, their outros, and stuff. Mark and I do not. These are not canned. These are literally every week we do this. We go through this and we have a different way we say it. It's scripted. It's written out for us. We should be able to just read it and make it sound good, but we don't.
I'm not a paid actor. Hey, what the hell is this?
Neither am I. I don't even play one on TV. But yeah. Anyway, Mark.
All right.
Where else can listeners find us?
Well, we can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice that you use. If ratings and reviews are available, which they are, everybody, all you have to do is give us a 5-star review if you really love what we do. If not, you can tell a friend. That's the whole thing. Word of mouth spreads like a virus.
Heck yeah. Telephone, telethon, tell a friend. The rest of our page is blank. So I don't know how to end this.
Well, the rest of it is like all you have to do is go to our Facebook page, Panels to Pixels or podcast / or it's like no. It's www.panelstopixels.podcast on Facebook.
Or facebook.com/panels to pixels. You can find us that way too. Search for Panels to Pixels in Facebook. You'll see us on there. Search for Panels to Pixels podcast on YouTube. You'll find us there. You'll see our podcast art, Panels to Pixels podcast. We're there. We post to Instagram, which is Panels to Pixels podcast on. It's a mouthful to say, but the
wow, Steve's got this hole in the heart
on Instagram. You can email us. Look, I said this for many years, Mark. You can email us. You just send us a regular old email, type it out, or record yourself on your devices and send us a recording of your voice. We would love to hear you talk to us with your voice at our email address, which is panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels2pixels, the TO spelled out right there in the middle, and then the number 1@gmail.com.
All right. Well, Steve showed me up big time and found out, and through the world of, I don't know, whatever zeitgeist that came out, it just worked out, and he gave you the information. So with that was our episode of the podcast. I want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
I don't know who I am. I'm still Steve. And I'm going to let you say the line.
Yep, same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. And I can't stop laughing.
Good night.
Goodbye.